I had been transmigrated. Again, this time, I'd been dropped into a brain-hemorrhaging regret genre supernatural thriller. In the original story, the protagonist spent 10,000 years mastering the cosmic source, finally ascending to become the apex, the supreme protector of humanity. But he was shackled by family loyalty and a misguided sense of righteousness. The world demanded he go to the breach, the dimensional gateway, to stop the encroaching abyssal darkness. This protagonist, a total Boy Scout, actually went. He fought alone for 10,000 years, suppressing the dark zones. Then, in a classic trope twist, he looked back to find his own family being oppressed by the very people he was saving. The protagonist was furious. But he only killed a few ringleaders, declared he wouldn't guard the breach anymore, and took his remaining family into hiding. The world didn't care. Until the abyssal darkness struck, the breach fell, and everyone regretted their actions. Then began the Chasing the Apex's Forgiveness arc. When I read this trash, I felt like a blood clot was about to burst in my brain. What kind of masochistic, illogical plot was this? If a godlike being protects you and the world unconditionally, you don't have to worship him, but you should at least have some respect and gratitude, right? But the geniuses in this book, while the protagonist was out fighting their wars, actually bullied his family. Please, that's the apex. The strongest being in existence. Even if they weren't grateful, how did they dare? But they did it anyway. Just because one of the protagonist's relatives chased after a saintess and offended a corporate heir from a top faction. The protagonist's family were also idiots. They had superpowers, yet their brains were filled with romance, easily manipulated by a spy saintess to stand against the world. The kicker? Even when crushed by a dozen top factions, the family refused to use the apex decree the protagonist left behind. Their excuse? The decree must only be used when a family faces extinction. If we use it, the ancestor will sense it and be distracted from fighting the Dark Lords. If the breach falls because of us, we'll be sinners of the entire realm. Reading that left me speechless. The world is ending and you're worrying about public relations. What does the world have to do with you? Do you really think you're the saviors? Of course, the worst part was the pushover protagonist. He'd ascended to godhood, yet could still be guilt-tripped. Why not just look out for number one? Why the hot-blooded sacrifice? It resulted in his family having no protector and being bullied to dust. And the worst part, when he found out his family was slaughtered and oppressed, a god-tier being should have buried millions in rage. Instead, he just got mad for a second, killed a few leaders, expressed disappointment, and gave a heartbroken speech. I fought the darkness for 10,000 years to keep you safe, but I didn't expect you to oppress my kin. You are unworthy of my protection. From now on, I guard the breach no more. Brain-dead genre, dogshit plot, pushover lead, garbage author. When I read that, I didn't know what the protagonist was trying to prove. As the apex, he should have crushed them all. Instead, he dropped a moody one-liner. I guard the breach no more. Damn it, did he think he looked cool? The stupidest part was, if you say you aren't guarding it, then get the hell out of there. But later, when the darkness invaded and the people cried crocodile tears, he actually forgave them. That plot gave me angina. Just as I was considering sending the author a box of razor blades, lightning struck. Literally, I was sitting at home, and boom. But I didn't struggle or panic. As a professional transmigrator, I was used to this. I closed my eyes, opened them, and I was in a novel. Only when I fully opened my eyes did I realize I was floating high in the sky. As I tried to figure out which part of the plot this was, lines of text, a live stream chat feed, flashed before my eyes. Man, that wasn't easy. The MC, cultivated for 10 millennia, survived all the tribulations, and finally ascended to apex. Yeah, the MC is a beast. He tanked the Ascension Lightning with just his physical body. He's strong, sure, but so what? He's just going to be a workhorse fighting the abyssal darkness anyway. What do you mean? Why does he have to fight the abyss? Upstairs hasn't read the spoilers. Apex-level beings usually cut their lifespans to enter the abyss, hibernate, and come out to feed on humanity to extend their lives. The current righteous apex usually steps up to be the shield and protect the people. That's the MC. What do you mean, workhorse? With great power comes great responsibility. As the apex, bearing the mandate of heaven, it's his duty to protect the world. LOL, upstairs is a total NPC. Does the apex owe the world a living? Who decided he has to protect everyone? You? Why are you yelling at me? I'm just stating facts. Isn't that what the MC does in the original book? That's why the MC is a pushover. Ha. This is a regret novel. It's for the plot. If the MC doesn't go fight the abyss, how can we get the satisfaction later? Stop arguing. The apex phenomenon has spread across the world. The people are coming to pay homage. The plot is starting. As a veteran dimension hopper, I wasn't surprised by the chat overlay in the sky. Presumably, readers like me were watching this world in real time. I didn't feel uncomfortable. In fact, I felt a flicker of interest. After all, nobody watching is like playing a single-player game. Fun but lonely. With an audience, this trip wouldn't be so boring. Based on the comments, I looked up. The storm clouds hadn't fully dispersed, but golden lotuses were blooming across the sky. Phantom dragons rose from the water. Phoenixes cried out. Endless majestic phenomena manifested. Feeling the terrifying, surging power inside me, my mind shook, and I realized exactly when I had arrived. It was the moment the protagonist had just ascended. The world had come to kneel, and the moral blackmail to force him to the breach was about to begin. My gaze turned cold. When reading the book, this scene annoyed me the most. An apex being guilt-tripped into guarding a wall. Was this a joke? I didn't expect to land right here. The corners of my mouth hooked up involuntarily. Heh, didn't they just walk right into the barrel of my gun? Wait, does anyone else feel like the MC smile is a little terrifying? A little creepy? Now that you mention it, yeah. It looks like the smile of an abyssal lord right before they start a planetary harvest. No way, the MC just ascended. His character is super righteous. Otherwise, he wouldn't let the world bully him into fighting the abyss. Maybe his mindset changed after ascending, or he had a total awakening. Possible. Forget that. The leaders of the top factions are already at the foot of the divine mountain. The plot is starting. Sure enough, the next moment, countless voices rose from the foot of the mountain. We respectfully welcome the Apeiron, the infinite apex. The thunderous greeting shook the entire mountain, scattering the clouds and drilling into my ears. I looked down. At the base of the mountain, countless beings were kneeling, packed together like ants. Their eyes were mostly reverent, but also calculating. You gather at my place of meditation. What is your intent? Hearing this, the dozen or so leaders of the top factions bowed slightly. Lord Apeiron, we have come specifically to congratulate you on your successful ascension. After all, the infinite realm hasn't seen an apex in a long time. Here it comes. The MC asks, and these guys use fake congratulations to flatter him before hypocritically convincing him to fight the abyss. Is that all? My tone was indifferent. The faction leaders smiled awkwardly. Nothing gets past the apex. We do have another matter, but we don't know if we should speak of it. I walked down from the sky, knowing exactly what they wanted, and couldn't help a mocking smile. If you don't know if you should speak, then don't speak. Selene Frost, matriarch of the lunar sanctum, froze. She was just being polite, and I had shut her down instantly. But as an old monster who had lived tens of thousands of years, her skin was thick. Lord Apeiron, although you may not wish to hear it, this old woman feels she must speak. The abyssal darkness has been restless for too long. Her voice cut off abruptly, because I'd clenched my fist and smashed it ruthlessly toward her. Boom! The power of 1 billion divine elephants erupted from within me. It instantly crushed Selene Frost's physical body into meat paste. I told you not to speak, and you still spoke. Do you take my words for empty air? My cold voice echoed out. The entire field fell deathly silent. The chat feed exploded. Holy crap. Did I see that right? The MC. He actually attacked? Yeah, in the original plot. Didn't he let her speak and then listen? What's going on? Is the plot broken? I told you the MC awakened. But the MC isn't wrong. An apex tells you to shut up, and you keep talking? That's a death wish. Friend Apeiron, what is the meaning of this? Flora Vane, a quasi-emperor and close friend of Selene, was the first to react, her tone incredibly displeased. Selene only wanted to say a few words. Why did you attack her for no reason? My gaze turned cold again. Friend, before I ascended, you called me friend, I wouldn't mind. Now I'm the apex, and you still call me friend. Did I ascend for nothing? Is friend something you are qualified to call me? As the words fell, a vast, crushing pressure radiated from my body, slamming onto Flora Vane. She felt as if a primordial mountain had been dropped onto her spine. Unable to bear the weight, she was smashed into the dirt, her aura withering instantly. To be humiliated like this in public made Flora's face twist in ugly shock. But having lived this long, she knew how to read the room. Her body trembling, she forced a few words through gritted teeth. Senior. From across the air, I slapped her directly across the face. Voice so small. Did you skip lunch? Flora Vane clutched her swollen, red cheek and roared in total humiliation. Senior. Hearing this, I slapped her again. Why are you yelling so loud? Do you think I'm deaf? Ha is the MC. Toying with her? The MC's character is broken. The original MC would absolutely never do this. If it's broken, it's broken. Isn't this MC better than the original pushover? True that. Flora Vane's eyes were bloodshot, her body shaking uncontrollably. Caleb Thorne, is this amusing to you? I only spoke a few words of justice, and you humiliate me like this. If you have the guts, just kill me. She was blinded by rage. My mouth twitched. As expected of a dramatic novel world, people actually made such ridiculous requests. Fine, this apex will satisfy you. As a good young man from the 21st century, how could I refuse a request within my power? Without a second thought, I reached out, destruction's sword intent coiling around my fingertip. As I pointed forward, an extremely terrifying beam of destructive divine light shot toward the center of Flora Vane's forehead. No. Wait, I was wrong. Let me go. Watching the blazing divine light rush toward her eyes, Flora's mind instantly cleared. The anger in her eyes vanished, replaced by sheer terror. She used every technique she had to block it. But it was a pity. The divine light destroyed everything in its path, easily crushing all her supernatural abilities. Then it pierced directly through her skull, leaving a neat, deep hole in her forehead. My finger, imbued with the laws of the universe, didn't just pierce her skull, it pierced her soul. Flora Vane, a seventh tribulation quasi-emperor, fell. Up and down the divine mountain, everyone stared, slack-jawed at the scene. Wait, the MC's character broke, and now the plot is breaking too? Yeah, wasn't he supposed to take responsibility? What is this murder spree? I don't know, but decisive killing. That's what an apex should look like. The entire venue went silent. Everyone stared at me, dumbfounded. They never expected that I, usually so easygoing, would have such a ruthless side. Anyone else want to complain on behalf of Matriarch Celine? I looked down at the foot of the mountain, my tone flat but crushing. No, we wouldn't dare. It was their own fault. Right. It's all their fault. Laura Pyron is not to blame. The people from the other factions knelt in rapid succession, terrified that I might wipe them out if I got annoyed. Looking at these groveling quasi-emperors, my eyes were full of disdain. A bunch of ants. Sure enough, be nice, and no one fears you. Be hard, and everyone reveres you. Just as I was about to speak, I sensed something and looked toward where Celine Frost had been suppressed. Trying to run? My eyes narrowed slightly. I reached out, grabbing at the empty air. You haven't finished speaking. Where are you going? I looked at Celine's soul struggling in my palm, my tone mocking. My punch earlier was purely physical force. Although it destroyed her body, it didn't cause substantial damage to her soul. I had sensed her soul hiding in the void, waiting for a chance to flee. The reason I hadn't exposed her immediately was simply to give her hope, only to crush her with despair at the end. After all, in the original book, she was one of the supporting characters who disgusted me the most. No, Lord Apeiron, an elder from the Lunar Sanctum, just messaged me. There is some trouble within the clan that needs handling, so I... Celine's tone was fearful, but I could detect the flash of hatred deep in her eyes. Oh, trouble. My tone was light. What kind of trouble? Does it require this apex to help you solve it? Celine's beautiful eyes looked confused. She didn't know what game I was playing. No. Just some small trouble. How could I dare trouble the apex personally? I will go back and solve it myself. Saying that, her soul turned to flee. But a binding force suddenly descended upon her. Celine's soul turned pale instantly. Lord Apex, what is this? I smiled. Sister, since you traveled thousands of miles to congratulate me, let me handle this small trouble for you. Where is your lunar sanctum? Point the way. Celine didn't understand, but after hesitating, she pointed a finger toward the distance. Following her direction, my divine sense locked onto the lunar sanctum, billions of miles away. Then I reached out, formed a sword with my fingers, and slashed. Riot. A blindingly brilliant beam of destructive sword light erupted from my fingertip. Caleb, what? What did you do? Watching the dazzling sword light disappear into the distance, Celine felt a sudden, terrible unease. I explained with a smile on my lips. What did I do? I helped you solve your trouble, of course. Celine's anxiety skyrocketed. Caleb Thorne, what exactly did you do? I didn't explain further. I just looked up, gazing at the region billions of miles away. At this moment, that brilliant sword light had arrived at the lunar sanctum. The destructive laws attached to it, wrapped in sharp sword momentum, pierced through layers of void. In an instant, it shredded every living being within. Then in just a few breaths, it expanded and annihilated everything outside the sanctum. The entire lunar sanctum, and indeed the entire lunar region, was instantly erased from the tectonic plate of the infinite realm. Holy crap, did the MC just destroy the lunar sanctum with one strike? Is he that overpowered? Is this the terrifying power of the apex? Destroying a holy land from that distance? That wasn't just a holy land. He sank the entire lunar region. A moment later, Aya, Celine's pupils shook violently, and she screamed. Her consciousness, following my sword, had witnessed the miserable state of her home. What did she see? Her entire sanctum, no, the entire region was gone, destroyed by my casual strike. Now, she looked at me with blood-red eyes, gritting out every word. Caleb, Thorn, why did you attack my sanctum for no reason? My tone was playful. Didn't you say your sanctum had trouble? So I destroyed it directly. Now, there's no trouble, right? LOL, the MC's logic is god tier. Technically he's not wrong. Destroy the source, and the problem is solved. The MC is so dark. He knew Celine was making excuses, so he just wiped out her faction. Look at Celine, her face is black. Seeing Celine silent, my eyes glinted cold. So, is the trouble solved or not? Hearing the thick killing intent in my voice, Celine's eyes instantly cleared. The lesson of her friend Flora was right in front of her. Although she wanted to fight me to the death, she knew very well she was no match. Her faction was gone. She was humiliated and heartbroken, but it wasn't worth losing her life over. After all, the core of the lunar sanctum was her. As long as she lived, the sanctum could be rebuilt. So she forced down the rage in her heart. Solved. Seeing her unconvinced face, I laughed and slapped her soul across the face. Solved, and you don't thank the apex? Celine's eyes grew redder, her soul trembling uncontrollably. Her voice was aggrieved, sounding like she was about to cry. Thank you. Seeing this, my grin widened. All right. I just helped you with a small problem. No need to be so moved. I paused, reaching out to gently wipe a tear from the corner of her eye. The MC's mouth is toxic. Exactly. She's not moved. She's literally shaking with rage because of you. OMG, this scene looks like a boyfriend comforting his sulking girlfriend. What girlfriend? Look at Celine's eyes. If looks could kill, the MC would have been sliced into 1,000 pieces by now. I pretended not to see Celine's resentful gaze and patted her head. Okay, don't be mad. What did you want to say earlier? Speak. As my words fell, Celine looked at me with total vigilance. I had just tortured her like that. Why would I let her speak again? I definitely wanted a reason to kill her. Yes, that must be it. She couldn't give me that reason. I wanted to speak earlier, and you didn't let me. You destroyed my body. So now, I have nothing to say. Although she tried to be calm, her words inevitably carried resentment. Hearing the anger in her tone, I smiled. Since you said I didn't want you to speak earlier. Now that I want you to speak, you actually dare to refuse? Exactly. Asked to speak and refuses? That a death sentence. My smile vanished abruptly, my eyes narrowing. A beam of tribulation light, carrying extreme, destructive energy, burst from my divine eyes. It crushed through the void and instantly obliterated Celine's soul. Stupor. The crowd was shocked once again, their gazes turning fearful as they looked at me. They weren't just stunned by my power, but terrified of my decisiveness and my drastic change in personality. As my gaze swept over them, everyone present lowered their heads. No one dared to touch my bad side right now. Seeing them kneeling respectfully, I rubbed my nose. I had only killed 2 quasi-emperors. Were they scared already? This wouldn't do. I hadn't vented enough yet. Who will tell me what Celine wanted to say earlier? You came together. You must know her purpose, right? No one wanted to be the nail that stuck out, so no one responded. I didn't care. Looking down, I started calling roll. Draco Sterling, Crystal Winters, Hades Blackwood. You tell me, why did you gather here? Whoa, these 3 are the faction leaders who bully the MC's family the hardest in the late game. But why is the MC calling them out? Is he? The 3 powerhouses I named trembled. After hesitating, Crystal Winters, the ice snow concubine, tried to speak. Apeiron, it's like this. The abyssal darkness has been restless for a long time. Recently, the Dark Lords have been stirring. We thought, since you were the current apex, could you? Before she could finish, within the range of my emperor-level perception, at least 5 magnificent auras faintly awakened. I knew what this was. It was a signal of goodwill from the abyssal lords and also a warning. A warning not to interfere in their business. I scoffed. A bunch of rats hiding their heads and tails, barely clinging to life, afraid to even show their faces, daring to threaten me. A prime state apex? They had a death wish, but it wasn't time to deal with them yet. The auras of the lords connected heaven and earth. Naturally, the people at the foot of the mountain felt them too. Sensing several powerful auras awakening, their faces turned ugly. Lord Apiron, surely you feel the arrogance of the abyss? They dare to threaten you. I looked down at the three people at the foot of the mountain. So, you mean you hope I will go to the breach, fight the abyss, and settle the turmoil? Crystal Winters nodded. Seeing me relent, Draco Sterling and Hades Blackwood joined in the persuasion. Yes, Apex. The abyss has always been cruel. We hope you will stand up to resist them and protect us. Watching their respectful faces, I fanned myself with a folding fan, my tone flat. The abyss is cruel, but they haven't provoked me. Why should I resist them? And I have no relation to any of you. Why should I protect you? Hearing my words, Hades Blackwood froze, but quickly recovered. Lord Apiron, as the current Apex, you follow the mandate of heaven and bear karma. It is only right that you protect the world. Draco Sterling chimed in. Correct, Lord Apiron. Fighting the abyss isn't just a duty, it's a glory. While you fight out there, we will erect monuments of merit for you in the rear, singing your praises daily. Think about it. If you go to guard the breach, your family, the Thorn clan, will rise with your achievements. They will be worshipped by the world and become an imperial clan. This isn't just personal honor and responsibility, but family glory. Why not ask your family what they think? Hearing this, I couldn't help but laugh. Saying they would worship the Thorn clan was just lip service. Otherwise, the novel wouldn't have reached a point where the Thorn clan was oppressed by 8 great imperial clans. But since they brought it up, I looked at the Thorn family members serving on the periphery of the Divine Mountain. Do you also think I should go to the breach and suppress the abyss? The clan head, Willowthorn, bowed first, then spoke with excitement. Of course, Ancestor. As the saying goes, the rise and fall of the world is every man's duty. You are the strongest in the world. You should stand up and take responsibility. Besides fighting the abyss, that is a supreme achievement and a great glory. If you act, all living beings will look up to our Thorn clan. The clan will flourish because of it. Listening to Willow's excited words, I couldn't help but feel disappointed. In every word, she considered global safety, family honor, and growth. Not a single thought for my well-being. Lord Apiron, your clansmen all feel this is your duty as the Apex. They hope you will shoulder the responsibility. Draco Sterling said with a smile. Willowthorn didn't seem to notice my dark expression and hurriedly urged me. Ancestor, what are you hesitating for? Hurry up and agree. This isn't just personal honor. It's our Thorn clan's glory. Yes, Ancestor, agree quickly. Saying that, Willow took the lead and knelt. We beg the Ancestor to fight for the peace of the Infinite Realm and spread the might of the Thorn clan. Then, countless Thorn disciples knelt one after another. We beg the Ancestor to act, protect the realm, and spread the might of the Thorn clan. Wow, seriously, whose side are these people on? Moral blackmailing their own Ancestor? Exactly. Let the MC fight while they sit back and enjoy the glory? Disgusting. Can't be bothered to flame them. The MC's family are total NPCs. My head hurts watching this. Can't he just kill them all? Listening to my own clan impatiently pushing me out, my face grew darker. Finally, I couldn't hold back a laugh. For so-called glory and family interests, they actually joined outsiders to guilt-trip their own Ancestor. Thinking about the later plot, where these people would rather be oppressed than use the Apex decree I left behind for fear of affecting the stability of the breach. These fake people were unparalleled. I looked at Willowthorn, the clan head appointed by the original host, at the foot of the mountain. You get up first. Willow's face moved, but she didn't move. Ancestor, if you don't agree, I won't get up. LOL, a junior threatening the Ancestor? Tired of living. It's because the MC was too nice to her before, so she dares to speak like that. Hearing this, I didn't want to waste any more words with her. If you won't get up, then die. As the words fell, the killing intent in my eyes materialized, turning into chains of cosmic law. Feeling the sharp power, Willow panicked and scrambled to stand. No, Ancestor, I was wrong, I'm getting you. Her voice cut off abruptly, because the chains of order had pierced her from head to toe, tearing through her soul. Divine blood sprayed across the sky. Holy SHD, did I see that right? It's one thing to kill outsiders, but the MC just killed his own kin, and the successor he spent tons of resources nurturing. So what? Dead is dead. The MC's look of disdain for the world. So handsome. Satisfying. He should have killed that selfish, hypocritical saintess long ago. Countless people present were horrified, their eyes blank with shock. Especially the Thorn family. I actually executed their matriarch directly? Wasn't I always benevolent? Wasn't she my favorite? How could this be? Just then, my indifferent voice rang out again. And you lot? Not getting up. The Thorn members who were kneeling snapped out of their shock and scrambled to their feet, terrified that if they were slow, I'd skewer them too. At that moment, outside the breach in the abyssal sea, 3 or 4 more terrifying auras awakened. Sensing that I would rather kill my own clan head than agree to fight, these Dark Lords seemed to think I was afraid of them, and couldn't help but wake up. Terrifying auras and panic spread like a tide across the 9 heavens and 10 lands. Feeling this horror, the leaders of the top Imperial clans and factions turned pale. Mother Terra, the guardian of humanity, looked at the trembling boundary sea, then at the millions of living beings behind her. The Dark Lords are waking up. The dark turmoil is coming. She looked at me, standing unmoved, and pleaded, Apex, do you really have the heart to watch these weak creatures be slaughtered by the Abyss and become food for the Lords? Listening to Mother Terra's moral blackmail from the original book, I couldn't help but sneer. Heart? They aren't slaughtering my kin. Why shouldn't I have the heart? Cultivation is a battle against heaven and earth. If they can't beat the Dark Lords and have no backing, becoming food is their fate. Damn, why did the MC become so cold? So unfamiliar. What do you mean cold? This is real cultivation. Weakness is the original sin. Exactly. Protect yourself, and that's it. Worrying about others makes you a saintard. Helping is a favor. Not helping is a right. The fate of the world is none of my business. Hearing my cold remarks, Crystal Winters, who had been silent, had a layer of frost cover her face. Caleb Thorne, are you afraid? I pointed at myself. Me? Afraid? Crystal pointed at the abyss beyond the boundary sea, her tone disappointed. Aren't you? In the past, every ascended apex was full of ambition, actively fighting the abyss. But you cower here, saying this is their fate. You weren't like this before. Her tone was full of disappointment. The Caleb I knew was always a hero who stood tall, not a cowardly rat who hangs back when it doesn't concern him. Listening to Crystal Winters' impassioned speech, I fought the urge to slap this saintess to death. Crystal Winters was one of the original host admirers. Not evil at heart, but completely infected by saintess syndrome, thinking about saving the world all day long. But she had no ability herself. To satisfy her savior complex, she constantly pestered the original host to fight the abyss. Now, she was even using reverse psychology. If it were the original pushover, he might actually have been swayed by this saintess. After all, throughout history, no apex lacked a heart of invincibility. They all cared about their reputation. But unfortunately, I don't care. Are you done? My gaze was indifferent, my tone flat. Done. I'm done. Crystal Winters shivered under my cold stare. What do you want? If you're done, then die. I smiled brilliantly. Blazing golden blood energy surged, turning into a colossal palm that slammed down on her. No, I just said a few words. Why are you killing me? I love you so much. How could you kill me? In an instant, her body was crushed, her soul obliterated. Except for the wails echoing between heaven and earth, her presence vanished completely. Holy crap, the MC killed another one. Killing at the drop of a hat. Is this really a romance novel? Caleb Thorne, what exactly do you want? Even if you're the apex, even if you refuse to fight the abyss, you can't just kill people over a disagreement. That's right, Lord Apeiron, this is too much. Countless faction members spoke up in accusation. Looking at the people pointing fingers at me, I laughed again. Killing a few people is too much? Well, I have something even more too much in mind. Feeling the unconcealed killing intent in my eyes, countless people shuddered. Lord Apeiron, WH, what are you planning? I folded my fan and scratched my head. What to do? I don't know what to do. So boring. What should I do? Let me think. Got it. Everyone looked at me nervously. I grinned, answering with absolute seriousness. I'll just simply start the dark turmoil myself. My voice wasn't loud, but it made the entire world go deathly silent. What? What was I going to do? Start the dark turmoil? Not just everyone present. Even the Dark Lords peeping from the abyss froze, their brains crashing. The current righteous apex, was going to launch the apocalypse? The chat feed exploded. What? Did I hear that right? What the FCK is the MC doing? Starting the dark turmoil? Holy SHD. Isn't the dark turmoil something the corrupt lords do? Why is the MC doing it? Damn, I was right. I said the MC smile earlier looked like a dark lord starting a harvest. Oh well, the apex personally starts the apocalypse. That's game over. These people are dead. The plot is completely broken. Upstairs, what do you mean broken? This plot has never been more correct. Draco Sterling was the first to recover, looking resentful. Lord Apiron, surely you are joking? Hearing this, the smile on my lips vanished. Do you think I am joking with you? As the words fell, my imperial robes fluttered without wind. Vast cosmic laws poured out of my body. In an instant, they crushed Draco Sterling's dragon body into pure blood essence. Then, guided by the laws, the essence flowed into my body. Instantly, a warm current rushed through my limbs and bones. Feeling my cultivation stabilize, I exhaled a heavy breath of turbid air. 8 Tribulation Dragon. Nice blood medicine. Seeing me crush Draco Sterling and refine him like a potion, the Imperial clans and faction leaders realized I was for real. They scattered and fled. But unfortunately, I had already laid down a restriction on this place. Entry allowed. No exit. Wait, when did the MC set up a barrier? I don't know, but this is awesome. The MC is not only strong and decisive, but smart enough to trap them beforehand. Exactly. As a loser IRL, this is so satisfying to watch. Caleb Thorne, are you crazy? You just ascended. Your blood vitality is full. Why do this? Right. You won't fight the abyss, fine, but why start the dark turmoil? Seeing they couldn't leave, countless people attacked me with words. Of course, some begged for mercy. Lord Apiron, we won't ask you to fight. We won't guilt-trip you anymore. Please, let us go. Seeing me unmoved, they turned to kneel before the Thorn family. Brothers of the Thorn clan, hurry and persuade your ancestor. You don't want the Thorn name to be spat on by every faction in the realm, do you? Hearing this, the Thorn family members trembled. They knelt to me again. Ancestor, stop. Don't make any more mistakes. Yes, doing this satisfies you, but where does it leave us? The Thorn clan will be despised by all 10,000 races. Listening to my own clan, I smiled self-deprecatingly. These people, their vision was too small, too fake, as descendants of an apex. So what if 10,000 races despise you? Kill them all, and no one will be left to gossip. Yet they dared to accuse me, their ancestor, for the sake of imaginary reputation. This ancestor was wrong, or perhaps I was too merciful earlier. But killing you now isn't too late. Saying that, I slowly raised my hand. Is the MC trying to refine his own family? That's too cruel, right? So what if they're family? If they aren't human, what's cruel about it? St. Tards, get out. Exactly. The MC is right. I've hated these fake people for ages. They should all die. MC, you asked where does this leave you? In a grave, of course. Evil laugh. JPG. Ancestor, what are you doing? Don't be rash. You actually want to kill us? Are you our ancestor? We are your descendants. Do you really have the heart? Hearing the undisguised killing intent in my voice, the Thorn family lost their earlier toughness, panic taking over. I hooked my mouth, revealing a row of white teeth. Heart, do you know? Bloodkin are the greatest supplement. Perfect. This ancestor just broke through, and my realm isn't fully stable. You, as my direct bloodline, shall give me a hand. Ahaha, I thought the MC would go soft. Result, Bloodkin are the best supplement. Nice. He has the style of a true demon venerable. Like JPG. As the words fell, my raised hand pressed down heavily. Endless blood, energy, and order turned into a colossal palm, crashing down from the sky. Bloodline suppression plus absolute suppression of realm. The Thorn family at the foot of the mountain had no room to resist. One palm. All members of the Thorn clan were crushed into primordial particles. Blood essence scattered into my body. As for their souls, all were sucked into my natal emperor weapon, the infinite standard, turning into soul servants, eternally suppressed. Wait, isn't that the 10,000 soul banner? What soul banner? That is clearly the human sovereign banner. Upstairs, have you ever seen a human sovereign banner emitting black smoke? That's not black smoke. That's clearly extremely dense, primordial violet gas. Besides, Willow Thorn, whom the MC just killed, had a human sovereign physique. A banner with a human sovereign as the main soul isn't a human sovereign banner. Fair point. At the foot of the mountain, inside the barrier, everyone stared blankly at me in the sky, devouring the blood essence. Forgot to scold, forgot to beg, forgot to run. Their pupils shook, eyes wide. What did they see? I actually slaughtered and refined my entire clan. I wiped out my own family. Crazy. I was truly crazy. Only now did these people feel true terror. I could kill my own kin without batting an eye. What about them, strangers? It turned out I wasn't joking. I really wanted to start the dark turmoil. At this moment, I had successfully devoured and refined all the Thorn bloodlines. My realm was not only completely stable, but touched the threshold of the next stage. Bloodline power is indeed a great supplement. I sighed inwardly. Being an evil cultivator was fast. I looked down at the ants watching me in horror. I licked my lips involuntarily. If I devoured and refined all these people, how terrifying would my strength become? Run, run, run away. Sensing the extreme killing intent in my eyes, these ancient beings broke out in cold sweat. They all felt like lambs waiting to be slaughtered. Instantly, unparalleled panic spread through the crowd. This panic was worse than the oppression brought by the awakening of the Dark Lords. Because, unlike the self-mutilated lords, I was a true apex, not something they could touch. The people here were the elites of thousands of top factions, including many clan ancestors and quasi-emperors. Actually, if they united, they might have caused me some trouble. But they didn't have the courage to unite against me. Each one only cared about scattering and fleeing. But within 1,000 miles of the Divine Mountain, I had sealed the entire space. They had nowhere to run. They could only watch helplessly, waiting for me to suppress them one by one, then devour and refine them all. Actually, the original book had many more brain aneurysm plots and characters. Like the spy Saintus who incited the Thorn family against the Imperial clans, some brainless, domineering Imperial clan fake people. But right now, I was too lazy to manage them one by one. There was only one thought in my mind. Kill. Kill these fakes, these moral grandstanders, the brainless ones. Kill them all, and save the trouble. So I unleashed my supreme, supernatural powers, moving to suppress them. 6 burials of the heavens. Chaos grindstone. With every ability I dropped, countless lives turned to ash. I slashed with my sword, and tens of thousands fell like wheat. The entire space had become my hunting ground. Except for me, every living thing was prey. They had no courage to resist, and no power to resist. They only dared to desperately use their abilities to bombard the barrier, hoping to tear a small hole. I didn't stop them. Instead, I watched with a smile. The methods of an apex. How could these unascended ants break them? I initially didn't think they could break my restriction with their own strength. But I underestimated the resources of the Imperial clans and the explosive power of humans in desperation. Led by the Sterling family, several top Imperial clan leaders sacrificed their emperor weapons and burned their blood essence, bombarding the array like madmen for half an incense stick of time. In the end, they actually tore a small gap. The Imperial clan members were ecstatic, but dared not delay, rushing out frantically. I reached out and quickly repaired the barrier, but many Imperial clan members still escaped. I didn't intend to chase these ants. After all, I was going to destroy the world eventually. They couldn't escape this realm. But to my surprise, these people escaped and then dared to shout insults and threats at me. Caleb Thorne, you dare not fight the abyss, yet you wave your butcher's knife at your own kind. We came with good intentions to congratulate your ascension, and you attack us with lethal force. You are insane. You are unworthy of being the apex. Wait until we escape properly. We will proclaim your atrocities to the world. Then, you will be the enemy of the realm, spurned and cursed for 10,000 generations. My eyes narrowed. These people, I intended to let them go temporarily, yet they dared to insult me. Tired of living, I tore open the void, preparing to crush these ants. But inside the barrier, the remaining Imperial clan leaders and quasi-emperors blocked my path. You wish to stop me? Are you not afraid of death? My tone was low. These people's eyes lit up. Apex, if we move, will we not die? I shook my head. Of course not. Their faces turned gray instantly, their tone dejected. So, it's just a difference of dying sooner or later. What does it matter? Exactly. Since we die anyway, better to die with value. Buy some time for the descendants who escaped. Fight for a chance. Victor Sterling, head of the Sterling clan, spoke up. Caleb Thorne, I know you have ascended and are powerful, but my son, Lance Sterling, has the assets of an apex. The humiliation and hatred of today. In time, my son will return it to you 100-fold. Hearing the familiar name, my mouth twitched. What? Lance Sterling? My son is Wong Tung. Meme character is making a cameo? I looked at Victor Sterling. You say your son Lance has apex assets. Victor's face was full of pride. Correct. My son is an apex candidate, and he has already successfully escaped. What? Scared? I looked at the arrogant Victor, my smile turning icy. Fine. Thanks for the reminder. When I'm done here, I'll go kill him first. Ahaha. I thought the MC would get mad. Result. Ha ha. I've seen sons screwing over fathers, but this is the first time I've seen a father screw over his son. Lance Sterling shivering. Thanks, Dad. Victor Sterling's face froze, his finger pointing at me, trembling with rage. You. He wanted to scream insults, but I flickered, kicking him squarely in the chest. You what? Apex assets? Leaving aside whether he could ascend. Even if he could, he wouldn't be my match. Besides, the road to ascension is long. There are plenty of people with potential, but few who grow up. To think this man dared threaten a true apex like me with a potential descendant. Truly a fake person. Thinking this, my killing intent surged. Terrifying blood power poured out. Victor's chest collapsed, and he was blasted backward, like a kite with a broken string, smashing through a dozen divine mountains before finally stopping. Brother Victor, clan head. Seeing Victor's miserable state, the Sterling clan and other experts were furious. Fear could no longer suppress their anger. With death in their hearts, they rushed at me fearlessly. Caleb Thorne, even if you are powerful, even if we are not your match, today we will bite a piece of meat off you. Looking at the thousands of quasi-emperors and supremes rushing at me, my mouth curled in disdain. Moths to a flame, I waved my sleeve forward. Endless luck and laws flowed from my sleeve, turning into ripples expanding outward, rippling through the void, rippling through their supernatural powers, rippling through their bodies, rippling through their true spirits, also rippling through their fantasies, reassembling them into despair. In an instant, these so-called powerhouses passed away like flying ash, melting like snow. Then all turned into the purest blood essence, absorbed by me. Their souls merged into the infinite banner. Holy crap! Wiping out thousands of quasi-emperors with a wave of sleeve? Is this the terrifying power of the apex? That is too damn scary. So satisfying. So strong. So domineering. Guys, is this plot right? Are we watching a pirated version? But why is the pirated version so good? I watched the fast-scrolling chat, corners of my mouth rising. Pirated? This wasn't pirated. This was Reverend Insanity, Pro Max Edition. But right now, I had no mind to immerse myself in the praise. Because I hold grudges. I seek vengeance for the smallest grievance. The ants that escaped earlier dared to curse me. They had a death wish. So I stomped, shattering the void, and chased after them. Killing Victor and the others took only an instant. Coupled with the speed of an apex, I caught up to them quickly. Gah! Caleb Thorne, how can you be so fast? Seeing my figure appear like a ghost in front of them, their knees went weak, voices full of horror. I ignored them, looking at the crowd. Who is Lance Sterling? A commotion in the crowd, but no one stepped forward. I got annoyed and slammed my palm down, instantly crushing a large group of people. I will say it once more. Who is Lance Sterling? Now, the survivors didn't dare hide him, pointing him out frantically. Lord Apiron, he is Lance Sterling. Soon, a trembling figure was pushed out. Lord Apiron, I am. Do you need something? Watching his shivering form, I laughed. I flipped my hand. Victor Sterling's soul appeared in my grip. Nothing much. Your dad felt the road to the afterlife was lonely. Before he died, he begged me to take you with him. Are you willing? Lances fast together on the road to the afterlife. That meant taking him to die. How could he be willing? At this moment, he couldn't help but curse 18 generations of his father's ancestors. He knew his father couldn't possibly want him to die, but for an apex to remember his name, it must be his father's doing. And he didn't need to guess what his father said. Nothing but, my son Lance has the assets of an apex. He had said before, don't show off, keep a low profile. Especially that phrase, it carries heavy karma. Don't say it randomly. But now, damn it, sun-screwing bastard, FCK my grandma. Haha, Lance's face is green. Apex, I'm not willing. Oh, you aren't willing? Lance plunked down on his knees. Apex, I wish to follow you. To be your slave, your servant. Please spare my life. Seeing him so pragmatic, I was somewhat surprised. To be my servant. You're not qualified. I said nothing more, just tossed the soul in my hand to him. Lance looked at his father's soul in front of him, guessing my meaning. Did I want him to? But a flash of hesitation crossed his eyes. As he hesitated, looking at his kneeling son, Victor's soul couldn't help but scream. You spineless thing. The Sterling Imperial clan flows with Emperor's blood. Death is just death. How can you be a slave? Stand up, damn it. Hearing this, Lance's eyes flashed with ruthlessness. He finally made up his mind. He stood up, tone filled with resentment. FCKU, you sun-screwing idiot. Did I want this? If not for you, would I be here? You, what are you doing? I am your father. Calling you dad makes you think you're my dad? Go to hell. I'm your daddy. Saying that, Lance used an imperial technique, grabbed the soul, and refined it instantly. LL, what a filial son. Ha ha ha. Truly booming filial piety. I see Lance also has the assets of a demon venerable. Evil grin. JPG. After refining his father, Lance looked at me respectfully. Lord Apiron, am I qualified to be your servant now? I looked Lance up and down, a bit of appreciation in my eyes. As expected of the young Apex, he was a ruthless man. But I didn't intend to let him go. You dare commit patricide today. Tomorrow you will dare betray your master. How can I keep you? I grinned, then waved the banner, piercing his heart. Haha, the MC is so dark. Seeing me so cruel and bloodthirsty, the rest of the people shrank back in terror. Not daring to delay, they burned their blood essence, used every trick, and scattered to flee. Looking down at the escaping ants, I did nothing. As the Apex, I could have crushed them all with one palm. But there was no need. They dared to curse me. Killing them simply would be too cheap. I wanted to make them feel despair, one by one. But before I could act, a mutation occurred. In the sky above, blood mist filled the air. 4 decaying figures stepped across the void. They used abyssal arts, slaughtering all the ants I had deliberately let go. The Dark Lords. Seeing these figures, the remaining survivors fell into deeper despair. One of me was desperate enough. Now 4 Dark Lords had emerged. It was over. In their hearts, they thought I would join forces with the Abyss to wash the world in blood. The arriving Dark Lords obviously thought so too. They stood before me, about to speak, but I didn't give them the chance. I punched directly, blasting all 4 of them backward. Caleb Thorne, what are you doing? We came to help you. We even killed these people for you. The Dark Lords clutched their caved-in chests and roared at me, exasperated. If they hadn't said that, fine, but saying it made me angrier. I finally worked up the mood for a game of cat and mouse, and these guys took it upon themselves to interfere. Looking for death. Who allowed you to act? And without my permission, how dare you emerge at will? I had no love for these Abyssal Lords anyway. Killing them was part of the plan. Now they just gave me an excuse. So, I gripped the infinite banner and moved to suppress them. The Dark Lords were angry. They acted to curry favor with me. But now, not only was I ungrateful, I wanted to suppress them. Simply arrogant. Caleb, didn't you want to start the dark turmoil and cleanse the world? Do you really want to be enemies with us? Lord Bloodbane spoke with a heavy threat. The other 3 emerged lords stared at me viciously. Exactly. Isn't your dark turmoil because you fear us? Are you going to sabotage yourself now? Why don't we cooperate and cleanse together? Across the infinite realm, powerful auras appeared in many life-forbidden zones. Clearly, they were backing this statement. Facing the pressure of countless Dark Lords, I only wanted to laugh. I started the turmoil because I feared them. I think you misunderstood my meaning. The 4 lords looked confused. What meaning? I grinned, my tone flat, pronouncing every word. My meaning is, the targets of my dark turmoil include you. As the words fell, the chat surged. Holy crap, did I hear that right? The MC. He wants to cleanse the dark forbidden zones too. Is he declaring war on the Abyss? But the MC also offended the realm's factions. Domineering. Too damn domineering. This is an Apex. Dark Abyss. Didn't expect the day would come when we get cleansed. Led by Bloodbane, the 4 Dark Lords looked ugly. Caleb, you are insane. You are strong alone, but to rival our Dark Abyss? Wishful thinking. As the words fell, outside the boundary sea, above the 9 heavens, countless forbidden zones awakened powerful auras. Numerous ancient existences woke up and rushed here. Although the dark zones fought constantly, they were united against an Apex. Especially since I said I would wash the Abyss in blood. I simply didn't put them in my eyes. Soon, one decaying emperor after another arrived. Seeing countless rotting figures opposing me, the survivors inside the barrier grew faintly excited. They thought I would conspire with the Dark Lords. Unexpectedly, I was so arrogant I wanted to cleanse the Abyss too. Thus, with 2 sides fighting, they might have a chance of survival. They knelt, voices humble and respectful. We begged the Dark Lords to act and suppress the Apiron. We are willing to worship you and find blood food for you in the future. Damn, did I hear that right? These people are begging the Dark Lords for protection. Ha ha ha. Shouldn't they beg the Apex to suppress the Lords? Talk about upside down. It seems the shadow the MC left on them is too big. They'd rather defect to the Abyss. The Dark Lords looked down, faces weird. How did the day come when they became the side of justice? Interesting, but they didn't rush to attack me. Bloodbane's tone was mocking. Caleb, see that? You are spurned by the 10,000 races. Do you still want to be our enemy? Actually, we can give you a chance. Apologize to us, put away your power, and we cleanse this world together. How about it? The kneeling creatures looked ugly, shouting to the sky. Lords, you cannot. Caleb Thorne slaughtered his kin, no. Voice cut off, because Bloodbane had slammed a palm down, crushing them into paste. Are you teaching me what to do? Then he returned to his harmless look, smiling at me. Lord Apiron, what do you think? Seeing him smile, I smiled too, but my smile carried bone-chilling cold. Not much. I slammed a palm out, blasting him from the sky deep into the earth. The other Dark Lords were stunned, but they recovered quickly, eyes furious. Caleb, you narrowed your own path. Since that is the case, die, saying that countless Dark Lords united, suppressing me together. Seeing this, the surviving realm inhabitants got excited again. Finally, someone could deal with me. There were quasi-emperors among them too, and they joined the siege against me. Looking around, the whole world was my enemy. The chat sweated for me. There are over 100 dark zones in the realm. Every lord was once an apex. Although self-mutilated, their power isn't to be underestimated. Yeah, and it's not just the Abyss. It's the top factions of the realm too. One man against a whole world. Can the MC win? Regarding their worries, I just want to say one thing. Unnecessary. In the original book, the MC was a pushover, but his strength was real. Otherwise, he couldn't have suppressed the Abyss alone for 10,000 years. Moreover, I was different from the unstable protagonist who just ascended. I had refined countless quasi-emperors and personally devoured all my kin. My realm wasn't just stable, it had reached a higher level. And unlike these self-mutilated remnants, I was a true apex. With a gesture, the laws served me. Therefore, to suppress a realm, I alone am more than enough. So my eyes sharpened, aura fully unleashed. Holding nothing back, I charged straight into the center of the Dark Lords. Humans block, kill humans. Buddhas block, kill Buddhas. Although the Dark Lords were strong and burned their essence to regain peak form in the face of death, they were not my match. To me, they were just slightly larger ants. I don't know how much time passed, nor how many I killed. My white robes were dyed blood red. I stood atop a mountain of corpses, looking down at a sea of blood. The world was empty. Just me, and the millions of vengeful souls in the infinite banner. This. The MC is too OP. Kill them all. Holy crap. One man slaughtered a realm. It has to be the MC. Satisfying. He pierced through this world. Having refined the people of an entire world, my strength had reached an unimaginable level. But I wasn't done. I looked up toward the sky. What is the MC doing? He already killed everyone in the world. What else does he want? I don't know, but his eyes. Terrifying? Wait, look at the sky. In the sky, a woman's face appeared, looming and faint. Transmigrator, you have crossed the line. Her voice held no joy or sorrow, but carried extreme pressure. Hearing her words, the chat scrolled wildly again. What? Did I hear that right? The MC is a transmigrator. Sigh, I wonder why the MC changed so much. So that's why. Good. Good crossing, bro. I love watching this. But if the MC is a transmigrator, what is that ugly thing in the sky? Seeing the chat, my lips hooked up. As a veteran traveler, the face in the sky wasn't strange to me. That was the heavenly Tao of this world, and also the will of the author. Unexpectedly, she would call an ugly thing. I looked. Indeed ugly. No wonder she wrote such a fake person novel. I looked at the will of heaven. Cross the line. Writing this kind of trash. You are the one who crossed the line. The heavenly Tao was evidently exasperated. You seek death. Words falling, endless laws gathered, trying to erase me. But having refined the entire world, my strength had transcended the scope of this world. She was helpless. Is that all the strength you have? I sneered, eyes full of disdain. The heavenly Tao was furious. This is MY world. Get out. Then, I felt the entire world rejecting me, trying to squeeze me out. Couldn't kill me, so she wanted to kick me out? I grinned, standing like a mountain. Don't worry, I'll get out. But before I leave, I have to do something. You, what do you want to do? I grinned, revealing a harmless smile. What? Destroy this fake world, of course. I knew the will before me was the rules, and what I had to do was stand above the rules, destroy her, then set my own rules. With that, I gripped the infinite banner tightly, carrying the resentment of every living being in this realm, and ascended to the sky. Then, burning all my lifespan, soul, and luck, I stabbed heavily toward the heavens. This stab pierced the heavens and earth, pierced the will. No. The face in the sky twisted and roared. But facing my rules, she was helpless. Only a boom was heard. The world shattered in response. Holy moly, the MC is too fierce. He actually smashed the heavenly Tao will. Badass. Truly badass. I'll call you the strongest transmigrator boss. But the MC burned everything. He looks a little dead. At this moment, my figure was somewhat illusory. Boss, don't die. I haven't seen enough. Yeah, boss, I can't bear to see you go. Boss, don't fear, I'll watch ads to revive you right now. Watching the fast-scrolling chat in front of me, I couldn't help but laugh. These netizens were truly talented. Boss, will I see you again? Seeing this comment, the corner of my mouth hooked up. I looked up, formally responding to the chat for the first time. Of course, everyone. I'll see you in the next world. Story complete.